heart is here in your gut. And in here is a highway. Where does it go? It goes to Jerusalem, to Zion. So that's one verse that says it. Psalm 122. I was glad when they said to me, let us go to the house of the Lord. Our feet are standing within your gates, O Jerusalem. Jerusalem that is built as a city that is compact together, to which the tribes go up, even the tribes of the Lord. That verse 1 to me says it. I was happy when they said to me, let us go to the house of the Lord. Our feet are standing inside your gates, O Jerusalem. And then it talks about the peace of Jerusalem. But when it says, go up, all the tribes, what do? In this verse, what do all the tribes do? Come on, guys, what do? They go up. They ascend to Jerusalem. All the tribes go up to Jerusalem. It is not the physical Jerusalem. Wait, it is. Of course it is. But it's not. It's talking about what that's a picture of, that all the tribes are to ascend to the heavenly Jerusalem and get mishpat tzedek, righteous judgments, righteous life. They call it in the church sanctification, holiness. Holiness, all it is doing good stuff at the right time. That's all it is. And we can do it a little tiny bit at a time. We're righteous for a few seconds, then we're not. Then we are, then we're not. Then we are, then we're not. We're holy for little bits of time, and then we're not. And then we are, and then we're not. Oh, okay, thank you. Exodus is 25:8, not 24:8. Thank you. Now, in Psalm 122, look down at verse 5. Well, verse 4. To which the tribes go up, an ordinance for Israel, to give thanks to the name of the Lord. For their thrones are set up for mishpat. There, in the Jerusalem in heaven, the thrones are set up for what? For what? For judging. For judging. Don't judge by what your eyes see. Don't judge by what your ears hear. We're most probably wrong. We might be right, but we're most probably wrong. So you got to shut your eyes, you got to shut your ears, and you got to ascend and go bring your mind to this, to the Torah. What? Psalm 122:1, and then we're in verse 5. Yeah. Verse 5. Let us go up to Jerusalem, and then in verse 5, their thrones are set for judgment. Their thrones are set for judgment. 5 times this week, somebody talked to me, asked me a question, or just put something on the text or whatever, that was basically coming out of not turning to Jerusalem in heaven and getting a righteous judgment and panicking and saying this and this and this and this, instead of directing their mind and their heart to the Torah, which would give them instant wisdom. And so they panic, and then things ensue. I do it too. Don't get me wrong. I do it too. I just do it less, because I've spent many, many, many years learning Judaism. I just do it less. That's all. But I still do it. So we got all those huge concepts, right? And this is what it's come down to. Judging a person does not define who they are. It defines who you are. Isn't that lovely? That means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. I mean, it's just so nonsensical, but this is what America's ended up with. Here's another one. If Jesus is our judge, maybe it's time we get off the throne. You know, whatever. I don't even really know what that means. We're supposed to make judgments. We're supposed to judge, mishpat tzedek. But people don't know that. And so they're like afraid to make I'm not going to make a judgment. I'm not going to say anything. I'll get in trouble. Well, If the Jews followed that, we'd never get anywhere. Romans 2. Here's some details of how to do this. Verse 14. Okay, let me say this before we read it. You as a Gentile might be making right decisions and you might not. You as a Jew might be making right decisions, you might not. If somebody goes to the Torah by the Spirit of God, they're going to get a right decision. Jew or Gentile, doesn't matter. If somebody doesn't go to the Torah by the Spirit of God, Jew or Gentile, most probably they're going to mess it up and make a bad decision. Romans 2:14. I'm under obligation both to Greeks and to barbarians, both to the wise and to the foolish. What am I reading here? I'm in the wrong passage. 2:14. I was in chapter 1. For when Gentiles who do not have the Torah, Gentiles who do not have the Torah, do instinctively the things that are in the Torah, not having the Torah, they're a Torah to themselves. Does that make sense? Somebody who's a Gentile who doesn't have the Torah, just inside, instinctively, in their gut, they end up doing what is in the Torah, not doing what's lawful or right or righteous or beautiful. What's in the Torah, they're a Torah, they're a law, they're a Torah to themselves. So that means that even in unbelieving, pagan, Satan-worshiping filth, garbage, people that you would just throw away, they have inside of them somehow the Torah. Somehow. Maybe a little bit. Because it says it here. When Gentiles who do not have the Torah instinctively do the things that are in the Torah, they don't have the Torah. They become a Torah to themselves. They become a law to themselves. Not because they're very wise, but because they somehow, instinctively, it's inside them, end up doing Judaism. Stuff that's in Judaism. That's a weird concept. In that they show the work of the Torah written in their hearts. How can the Torah be written in their hearts if they're a filthy pagan? But that's what it says. When the Gentiles who do not have the Torah, this is not talking about believers. This is talking about the worst of the worst, the Gentiles. But it says they show the work of the Torah written in their hearts, their conscience bearing witness, and their thoughts alternately accusing or defending them. That's how it works. That's how it works. If you can somehow access your conscience, but the part of your conscience that's right. I'll tell you what I mean by that. I'm not always convicted when I do wrong. Are you? Do you always feel bad when you do wrong? I don't, because I don't know what's wrong. I did wrong for 5 years in a row with my kids in middle school, over and over and over and over. I didn't know it was wrong. Nobody ever told me it was wrong. Then when they told it to me, I was like, then I won't do that anymore. But it was too late. I already screwed up the kids. So I didn't know it was wrong, so I wasn't convicted. So it's hard. It's hard to access the part of your conscience that is Torah. But it's possible, and it says it here. It's even possible for unbelievers. So if they can do it, we can sure do it. Does that make sense? Yes or no? Yes. If they can do it, we can do it. It says right here they do it. I mean, Shaul watched it happen. Paul watched it happen. John chapter 16, 7 through 9. I tell you the truth, it's to your advantage that I go away. If I don't go away, the Helper will not come to you. But if I go, I'll send him to you. Or she, I'll send her to you. We could do it either way. She, the Holy Spirit is a she and a he. It's both. She's both. He's both. When she comes, will convict the world concerning sin and righteousness and judgment. Mishpat. Mishpat. Concerning sin, because they don't know me, they don't believe in me. Concerning righteousness, because I go to the Father and you no longer see me. And concerning mishpat, because the ruler of this world has been judged. I don't know what any of that means, but I know this, that the Holy Spirit will be sent by Yeshua to take you back to the Torah to get you a good decision. You must go to the Torah. You must go to Judaism. That's up in heaven. It's not, like here, let's do things, let's do Jewish stuff. Make sure you don't do that. Make sure you don't do that. Make sure you don't break that. Make sure you do the right. That's not Judaism. Judaism is the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit, pouring out from those bowls in heaven through the Torah, through the Tanakh, that goes into your mind, and then it drops into your heart, or the other way around, from your heart and it gets up to your mind. I think that's more accurate. And then you get an answer. I think that's more accurate. It starts in your gut when you go up to the New Jerusalem, to heaven, to Judaism, to make it understandable. You go to Judaism, to the Torah, you get that wisdom from the bowls, and then it comes up into your mind, and you get a good decision. And it takes practice. So the Ruach HaKodesh will convict and teach. Well, whoop-de-doo. If it doesn't have anything to do with you making decisions, who cares? I need decisions. I need to know what's right and wrong. I got to stop screwing people up. I got to treat my family right. I got to treat my kids at school right. I got decisions I got to make. And if I can't figure that out, I might as well just chuck the whole thing. It's only the Torah that gives us that understanding. All right. So here's how you get there. Elul. Here's how you get there. Elul is the month we're in. Today's what did I say? Today, the 6th or 4th? What's today, the 4th? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.